A few days ago I was talking to my friend Matt, and he said to me that in his old office he had a bunch of old games machines, and was I interested? So of course I said no, and we left it at that and we went our separate ways. No, of course that didn't happen. So of course I said yes, and we agreed to meet up and go and rummage through the junk in his office. His words. Let's go and see what we found. Come on, that way, that way! Sadly, a lot of the time the camera was either pointing the wrong way or switched off or out of focus or, well, I didn't get some of the key footage that I wanted to get, but there's at least something that's reasonably decent.
Resistors.
Vectrex.
Oh. There we go. And have a look inside.
Let's open it up.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the games,
Cool.
I think, are in the other room. So. Let's see what we've got in here. I've got no idea what's in here. Probably my old airsoft and stuff. No, it's a GameCube, an old Nintendo GameCube, and a bunch of games, and what else? A Game Boy. Oh. Right. It says Yamaha on it, but I'm pretty sure the games for the Vectrex are in here. Yeah.
Apricot.
Well, I've got no idea what this is actually.
I bet it's not an apricot.
No, it's definitely not an apricot. It's probably an Amiga or something like that. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, Amiga 500 Plus.
Yeah. Have you got one of those?
No.
I don't know what the plus you get with the plus, but it certainly could do with your treatment on the keys.
Is there anything in the trapdoor?
Have a look. No.
No.
But space for one, obviously.
So this is the loot. Matt wants to keep the Vectrex, but I made an offer on the rest of it. Okay, start with the big box. We have a joystick. It's a captive mouse. The mouse plugs into the joystick connector, which is underneath the keyboard. That's, from what I've heard, that is a source of failure, possibly with the connectors and also with the cables. So that's probably why it's still plugged in. Okay, now there's no power brick on this because it's got an actual mains connector. Okay, so That's a Spectra video joystick. No clicky. Okay, I won't worry about that for the moment. And let's have a look what's in here. Foam is not very pleasant. It smells a bit as well. So I hope that's the foam smelling and not the disk drive. Okay, so this is a mains powered disk drive, floppy drive. There's a switch on the back which is not labelled as anything, so I'm not quite sure what that does. Power drive, made in the UK. Regular 3.5-inch floppy mechanism, and there is a mains cable and floppy drive cable. Now that, I don't know how many connectors that is, I'm not going to count, but that goes into this floppy drive connector. Okay, that might just be an on-off switch. It's not got a label on it. Now we need a monitor cable and a mains cable. Now we've got a SCART cable which actually came with the monitor. I haven't brought the monitor in because you can see there's not a lot of space on the table. I'm hoping that the SCART will work with this TV. So let's just hook it up. Right, I know the SCART input works because it works with the Amiga. Right, let's plug in. Right, hopefully you can see everything. Turn the power on and see what it does. SCART in CVBS. Sounds positive. Disk light is on. Power light is on. I can hear the disk clicking, but I can't see anything on the screen. Again, the disk is clicking, so I can feel the head moving. So something's going on inside the computer, but we can't see anything on the screen. That's a shame. Okay, time for some thinking. Okay, this is the Philips CM8852 personal monitor. I think maybe there was a panel on the front, but it's not there now. It's a CRT. I don't know quite what the dot pitch is, but it's going to be of the era that they were about 0.4, 0.3 maybe millimeters. Okay, so we've got on-off switch. We've got, that's a green button, so I guess that lets it be used as a monochrome monitor. That's volume knob, contrast, brightness, and horizontal position. I don't know if it works. We will find out. That's interesting. The power light is on and the power button does not. Okay, the power button works sometimes. That's interesting. Right. So, let's see whether the ST works. Oh, that's a positive sign. We didn't get that on the other monitor. Wait, hey! I didn't know whether that was going to come up because I didn't have any discs with it and no operating system discs or whatever, like, you know, workbench discs, so I really didn't know what to expect, but it looks like it's built into the ROM. That's good. The mouse works. See, there's no disk in the drive. Drive A is not responding. Floppy disk B. Please insert disk B into drive A. That's... huh. Let's put that into there. I don't know whether that's I'm guessing that the switch on the back might be a power switch. Possibly not. Nothing happened in either direction. Let us try Frontier Elite Disc 1. The only software I've got, and it doesn't work. Of course, it may be that the floppy drive is dirty or something. Let's have a look at disk 2. Okay, well, I didn't really expect that to have anything sensible or readable or whatever. Well, we've shown two things. One, the Atari ST does actually work. I guess that doesn't auto boot. I don't know if it's supposed to auto boot or whether auto booting is just not a thing. This is the first Atari ST that I've had, so at this point, with no manuals, no documentation, and the power of pure guesswork, I don't really know. I did use an Atari ST many years ago, back in the late 1980s. We had one where I worked and I was responsible for testing some software with it, but beyond doing that particular job, I never really used it. So certainly I never used it as a games machine. So what does this say? Compatible with 520 ST, 520 STE, 1040 ST, 1040 STE. This is a 1040 STE, Mega ST and Mega STE, 1 megabyte minimum, joystick optional. Does this tell us how much memory we've got? Gem Graphic Environment Manager TOS. Copyright all the way up to 89, so it's at least that young. Doesn't tell us a version number there. Resolution is low. Let's try medium. Drive A is not responding. Maybe it does need an operating system disk of some description. So we know the monitor works, and we know that the Atari works, the ST works as far as we've got it. We don't know that the disk drive works. Maybe the disk drive is faulty, maybe the disks are faulty. I wouldn't put money on either way. Okay, right. Checked. On to the next thing. I did notice I hadn't twigged before. This is actually the original box for the disk drive. Power computing, power drive, high performance 3.5-inch double-sided disk drive, made in England. Hurrah! And it's a PC720 Atari ST. It's also ticked PC880 Amiga, but that is an ST cable, and there's no option, as far as I can see, for an Amiga cable, because the Amiga is a 23-pin D type connector. Okay, let's look at something else.
So this is an old Vectrex gaming console that I bought from Woolworths, I think it was, back in the early 80s. Let's have a look at it. So it's still got the original cardboard wrapper, and then the actual box.
We've got a Wonder Zoomy thing on this.
Awesome. Right. So, okay, let's have a look. So, we've got your owner's manual. And there we are. That is the Vectrex. Stick it on the table, yeah. There we go. And that's the controller. And then we've got another controller, which I haven't got to hand, that plugs in alongside this one. These just unplug. they're pretty sturdy things, and they're quite responsive, if I remember rightly. And then you've got on-off volume, and that's it. Power cable, and then we've got something around the back here actually. Let's have a look. I'll just pop that back in. It's got a little adjustment. That's just brightness on the TV. So it's effectively a black and white TV, and then in each game box it's got a printed film, transparent film, that goes over there, snaps into these little lugs on the screen here, and that turns it into sort of like a colour display. A very rudimentary colour display, but a colour display nonetheless. And that's it. So that actually is the front, and then that's the side with all the games on it, and then you're back to the front, and then I'll tip it forwards so you can see the top. This is quite a good one actually.
Armour Attack.
Armour Attack. That's good. Chaos Chasm. That's a good one. Cosmic Chasm, rather. Bedlam. Clean Sweep. Rip Off. That's quite good. This was my favourite one. Space Wars. Very much like Asteroids, I think. And then Flipper Pinball. There we go.
So now we've got the Nintendo GameCube and the smaller consoles. Let's look at these ones first. This is a Game Boy Color, and on the back we have this little rumble pack, which I think maybe that's a rechargeable battery inside there, so we're going to have to open that up and have a look and see if it's okay. This looks like it takes two normal AA batteries. Presumably with the rumble pack in, it has to take something else, because the batteries are not going to go inside there, and that looks like this is actually terminals to the batteries, so it must be powered from this, and that's a tiny DC 3 volts input, so I guess that charges the battery up as well as, and it's rated DC 3 volts 0.6 watts. Batteries 2 times AA or adapter input, DC 3 volts 300 milliamps. We don't have one of those, so gonna have to try and find one. And this is a little collapsible Game Boy Advance. 5.2 volts DC, X1, X2. I guess that's a battery pack of some sort. Screw there is a bit rusty. Maybe there's batteries inside, I don't know. It's got a cartridge in it. Small form cartridge. This is Zelda: A Link to the Past 4 Swords. We've also got, for this, we've got Star Wars Obi-Wan's Adventures. This goes in like that. And we've also got Pokemon Yellow version. Now, I don't know if they will also go in here. Looks like they might. Yes, they do. Maybe they are compatible. We'll have to see if we can get those working. This, I have no idea what it is. Name Jar Jar Binks. Status Gungan banished from Oto Gunga. Little sort of holographic style thing with a tiny chip. Hasbro. Copyright 1990. If you know what that is, comments in the comment section below. And this is some sort of cartridge. I have no idea what that is. I think it goes into this GameCube. I think it goes into there like that. What it does, I don't know. Okay, so let's have a look at the GameCube. Again, I've never had one of these. I've no idea how they work. DC 12 volts in, digital AV out, analog AV out. Four controllers on the front, 2 slots, which that goes in a slot, so presumably. We've got some covers underneath. That's a port of some sort. It says high-speed port. Serial port 1, serial port 2. And then different form factor ports. Something obviously goes in there as well, but I don't know what that is. There are connectors. So the covers are intact now. It's absolutely filthy dirty. It needs a good clean. And that is a CD mechanism. Which power reset. Okay. And we've got a bunch of games for it. So these are tiny CDs. So let's just see, so it goes in there like that. Looks like it. No, I don't think it will take a full-size CD. Because so I don't think you can use it as a CD player. But anyway, we've got Super Smash Brothers Melee. It's a Mario type thing. Super Smash Brothers Melee again, only for Nintendo GameCube. That is player's choice. That is, I don't know if there's any significant difference. They look like they are the same game with slightly different covers, but we will discover in due course. Soul Calibur, free game extra, HMV $39.99, so 40 quid for that. Memory card storage. So maybe that's a memory card. No, it's too big. Sort of the right form factor. Various bits of paper. Time Splitters Future Perfect. Again, and a manual. Judge Dredd. I love Judge Dredd. I think it's brilliant. Rebellion. I used to read the comics 2000 AD way back when I was at uni. And they were still in black and white in those days. Rebellion actually has a TV/movie studio down the road, or up the road. I don't know if they've filmed anything there yet. It was only not that long ago it was announced, but okay. Super Mario Sunshine, PAL Nintendo. Star Wars The Clone Wars. Begun the Clone War has. Metroid Prime. Cool. Clearly that needs some work. Right, this didn't come with any leads or anything, so I have paid a visit to Messrs. Amazon & Co. and purchased one cheap knockoff reproduction game controller and one set of leads, which hopefully includes a power supply and whatever we need to connect it up to a monitor. Let's have a look. So here's power supply for GameCube AC adapter. And there's mains, two-prong mains lead, which we have 1,000 of. And this is, it looks like an analog display. Okay, let's plug this in. We'll see if we can make it go. Go, go, go. So that's analog AV out. Let's see if we can find an input plug. Mains, where are you? Stick me up. Ha ha ha! This, of course, is the analog AV out. This is not the mains input. This is the mains input. And this goes to go on, in you go. In you go. Okay, now that's going to go that way. And this is going to go this way. Let's switch it on and see what happens. Power. Light comes on. Right. Let us play something different. Judge Dredd, because why not? Judge Dredd. Dredd versus Death. Press start. I have no idea how to play this, so it's not going to last very long. Copyright 2003, so it's not that old. It's got some nice artwork. Incredibly low resolution graphics.
Morning, Dredd. Glad you could make it for reorientation.
Head over to the jump course. It's just around the corner.
Well, we get the idea. Okay, this is Matt's Amiga 500 Plus. I'm just going to give it a quick try. You can see the keys are quite yellow, particularly that row, that row, and that row. But this row, strangely, doesn't seem to be as yellow as the rest of it. Anyway, I've plugged it all in. The seals are still intact. There is a question, however, that there is a battery on board, and the battery may well have leaked and it may well have caused some damage, so we'll just see what happens when we turn it on. There is no picture, but we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and a long one. Let's take a look at this A500 Plus and see what the damage is. We know it does not work, and I suspect it has some or significant battery damage. So let's open it up. Now that's interesting. It looks like it may have been opened at some point, because this screw appears to have what the remains of a warranty sticker on it. See that? So maybe the screw came from somewhere else, or maybe this warranty seal has been taken off and replaced. See, there again we've got exactly the same sticky on sticker. And I don't know if you can see that there. It looks like the warranty sticker is in a different position or has been moved, and the same with that. So I think maybe it has been taken apart in the past, because there's signs of there having been another warranty sticker underneath that. But we shall see what we shall see. Now we've got clips on this that we have to open carefully, so there we go. That's one lid. Right. That's one keyboard. Let's take the keyboard out. There we go. Ah yes, the battery has leaked. It doesn't look on the face of it as if it's too bad. There's a little bit of damage around there. Let me take the camera off the tripod and go into close-up mode. We can cut that battery off and we can put some vinegar on it, and that will stabilize it for now, and then we can start looking to see what damage there actually is. Let's take the drive out so that we can get the board out. Right, there's some damage to the board around here. Spin all these nuts. Talk among yourselves. I shall have this off in a minute. You have the benefit of fast forwarding this bit with some nice music. I have to go the long way round. Okay, now it didn't really need to be left in the case for that, but we did, so there you go. And the plastic sheet. So the bottom of the board looks quite clean, which is good news. The top of the board. Right, let's get this battery off. go. Okay. Let's put down a sheet of paper. Right, just looking at how shiny the solder is, these resistors look okay. The solder is still nice and shiny. This chappy C12 looks suspect because that's definitely rusty there, and I suspect this chip may well have some rust underneath it and may well need to be taken out so that the underneath can be cleaned at least. 74LS244, might even have one of those. Okay, let's go and get the vinegar. So I've got the vinegar. I shall tip a little of it into this dish. And then we shall bathe the board with some cotton buds. Now I've put a tray down here just so that the drips will be removable easily from my desk, because I don't really like the smell of vinegar. It seems to have leaked mainly from that side, but I'm going to be reasonably liberal because it may have gone further than we can actually see damage. So it does no harm to have more vinegar on here than... Ah, yes, you see this, whatever this chip is, you can see there's some damage on the... There's some corrosion on the legs, in fact, there and right down the end here, so it has spread. So we've got some damage going at least as far as the Gary. I'm going to douse the legs quite liberally. Vinegar is going to spread over the board. In fact, I'm going to lift that Gary chip just to be on the safe side and spread some more Joy of Vinegar underneath it. Chip puller. There we go. Right, and he's having a bath. Now, there's definitely some corrosion in this socket, so I think the socket is going to have to come out. But we can liberally soak it in the vinegar and the area underneath it. And the same with that chip. I don't think it's got as far as these because the solder seems to be quite shiny, which does suggest that it's not rusting or corroding. But it got all the way to there, and the intermediate, what am I trying to say? The connections in between do not seem to be affected, which is interesting. Anyway, I'm going to leave that for a while so that it can do its job. It doesn't seem to be bubbling particularly, and he will soak in that for a while. Let's put some more vinegar in here just to cover it. Then we know that the battery, not really acid, but we call it acid, will be neutralised. Okay, back in a bit. Right, I've cleaned quite a lot of the corrosion up off the board now. I've used some IPA on it. There's still a bit of corrosion on the legs of this Gary chip, but I think it's probably stable at least for now, and we'll be continuing with this repair, and hopefully we'll get it working in another video. Meanwhile, thank you for watching. It's been an interesting time, I think, and we've certainly got some new stuff. We've got an Atari ST, which is new to me. We've got another Amiga, the A500 Plus, which again is new to me, and we've got some Nintendo Game Boy stuff, and the GameCube, which is also very interesting. And we'll be looking at the Vectrex again in another video, and hopefully we'll get that working. So stay tuned, subscribe to find out when all this is going to happen and be notified, and click the bell and click the like button and comment in the comments below. And you will certainly want to watch this.